Okay. I think we're ready to rock and roll here. Welcome, everybody. Super excited to be able to do this with you. We're going to be going over a couple different really cool aspects of the Journey program, as well as TIAG, and as well as what we've been doing the last 4 months and what we're going to be doing for the next 3 months. I'm really excited about this, so let's just jump right into it and start doing a little bit of a recap and doing some general updates on what TIAG has been up to. We've been kind of quiet for the last 4 to 6 months, and the reason for that is would blow your mind because of what's been happening behind the scenes, just personally with my family, and then also with the team itself. We have been through some opposition, my friends, some opposition, and we know that with struggle comes growth. And so we're honored to be a part of the experience and our personal journey. And that's really why we founded the Journey program to begin with. We believe that as we walk our own personal journey, we can have this each one teach one mindset where we have the ability to help the next ones in line get through what we just learned with what we just learned. And so that's kind of the way that we've set the path forward for the Journey program. That's what we're all about. That's how we're moving forward. And I'm really excited to be able to kind of all hold hands on this journey together and walk up the mountain. And there's this image I saw once upon a time that way back when in like 2014 when I founded Make Change Mentoring, and our focus was in personal development. And as a mentor in that organization, I had to think really hard as I'm building this company. What do I want people to think and see when they see the terms make change mentoring? And so in that time frame is the first time, I'm sure you'll hear about it at one point or another in the Journey program if you're one of the subscribers, but it was the first time that I came up with the concept of make change mentoring's sidearm, which shot off into the Mentors Coalition. And this is a really big part of what's been able to create TIAG and bring it to the point that it is today. But in the Mentors Coalition, as I was building this logo, I was thinking really hard. What are people going to see and think when they see Make Change Mentoring and they see what we're trying to do with the Mentors Coalition and this particular program and all these offers? And I know that the visual stimulus of our mind and the reticular activating system and the way that our the serotonin works in the brain and the way that dopamine is triggered, and all these things play a key role in our perception of the world around us. And I understood that there's this degenerative paradigm that people operate in, and then there's this sustainable paradigm that people operate in, and then there's this people that are just thriving, like power couples all over the world. They're just doing things, and they seem to live in this regenerative paradigm. And then I went through my own PDC eventually, and I heard more about that same concepts from my mentor at the time, and that was just amazing to me to hear all these things coming together. And so as this was all form fitting and I was learning the visual triggers and stimuli that I wanted people to be able to grasp, it hit me like a rock when I was thinking about this each one teach one mindset. And I found this photo online, and it was a mountain, just like a sketch, black and white writings, and it was a sketch of this little hill slope with all these little people on it, and they one person at a time. This guy at the top was reaching forward, and this person next in line was holding his hand and looking back, and this person behind him was holding that hand, and they were all just going up the mountain together. And I that image hit me like a rock, and I just realized that's what it's all about. That's what this is all about. We have to be willing to teach the next one in line. As parents, our role is to support our children in the same concepts. As a community, our role is to shine on the hill and share this knowledge and insight with those around us just the same way in the same kind of concepts. And so this was really powerful to me. So I took that image that I found, and it was just like a free I forget what it's called, no license image on some graphic generator. And I copied that over and I went through my own graphic design of it, and I created what became the Mentors Coalition official logo. And I put up at the top of the mountain a star representing the goal that we would be chasing and seeking as a people, aiming at this higher level of life, this next level achievement, all of us collectively working our way, holding each other's hand, working our way up the mountain. That's what TIAG is now. That's what we're doing. That's what the journey program is. Our goal is to go through the trenches together, to figure out how to keep our own heads above water, live and in real time with you. Permaculture is overwhelming. It is so all encompassing. And that's just permaculture. That's not talking about government, food scarcity and shortages, the overreach and tyranny that is happening globally, this global elitist agendas that everybody is so commonly aware of today. And even if you're not in that area of thinking, general emergency preparedness and just good sense and ethical standing as a family. You should have food supplies on hand and food storage. You should have your own water supply. You know, all these general ideas of getting through the week with the meals in your fridge and just making sure that in your mundane tasks of workflow, you have a standard that you can come home and open the fridge and like make food, right? All these little things matter. They can become overwhelming just at that level. And then you can go a little bit further and you can look at what is really happening in the world and how all of this kind of comes together, and you get in this analysis paralysis. It can shut you down, and with it shuts you down and it gets you dark thoughts in your mind, and it seeps through that reticular activating filter, that those negative thoughts go right into your deeper subconscious mind. It becomes part of your routine to just automatically think like that. You start to become depressed. It starts to weigh on you, and the world's problems are not getting smaller. In the grandeur look of this, you know, and the way that the media is touting everything, the way that social media and actual news media are coming together to bombard us basically with these constant issues, it can get heavy. So, my friends, we're done with that. Let's put it away. Just put it away. We're done with that. We are not going to dive into the problems and start to dissect what all of the terrible things are that are happening across the planet. You hear it from every single outlet you can name. The part of the Journey program that is so incredible and so passion driven and so worth your time is the fact that we're focusing on the solutions. We are a solution driven community. Permaculture is a design science to arrive at solutions. It was founded on the context of solving the problems. We are looking at issues and becoming overwhelmed, and the water rises, and we're just drowning in all of these issues from our personal life and our personal families. I'm sick today, or mental health, or all these other things going on, to the grand plan of the whole planet, and the way that climate change is scaring people, the way that the governments are scaring people, the way that medical and pharmacy are scaring people, all these things, food shortages and scarcity, all these things. We got to get out of it. You've got to stop focusing on. You have to turn your mind to positive points. If you do not do that, you will find yourself wallowing in the flood, and you will find yourself drowning in it. And this is not my personal opinion. This is something that every professional across the board is explaining to people. Stop focusing on the problems. You never pay attention to the trees when you're skiing down the hillside. You focus on the path between the trees. You don't look at the tree. If you look at the trees, you go to the trees. Your mind is programmed in a way where you see more of what you're looking for. And if you're skiing down the side of a mountain and you see this big forest coming up against you, and you're trying to weave between them all, and you're just having this time, and you look at trees, you're going to hit a tree, my friend. So we're going to get away from the trees. We're going to get out of the thicket. We're going to get into the path, and we're going to follow that straight and narrow and get on the right track forward. So let me tell you what we've been up to for the last 4 months and what we're going to do going forward for the next 3 months. I am so excited about this. We have so many good things coming together, and we've really been trying hard to make sure that there's a path for people, a path. We got to get into the path forward. Okay, so here's the path. The path is the Journey program. The path is the Journey program. TIAG stands for the Independent American Gardener. To me, the Independent American Gardener is an individual, not a family. It's an individual that is independent of everything else going on in the world and can rely on themselves so that they can create the steps that they need to have self-reliance. Now, there's a difference between being self-reliant and being self-sufficient. If you're self-reliant, you're relying on yourself to meet your needs and get what you need, and you're motivated and you realize you're taking responsibility for those elements. Now, I do not believe true self-reliance is possible in food, water, shelter, and surplus. What I do believe, though, is that self-sufficiency is possible in food, water, shelter, and surplus. A community, a family, a household, a country, we can become self-sufficient. And this involves a level of barter and trade, and we have sufficient for our needs. Now we can, just like the forest, look at that and think to ourselves how across the globe we need to see all of us working together to make the planet better. We all need to be working together to create better governments and operating systems. We all need to be voting and creating our steps forward so that we can fight the tyrannies. We all need to be able to plant a garden so that we're not dependent on the outcome of all those things. We all need to be able to catch rain so that we're not dependent on the surplus being provided by the governments. We all need to be able to jump into our surplus production at home so that we're not actually fighting for where we're getting our resources and what it looks like when those resources are being purchased, and that when we're buying what we need, it's coming from the right places, a local place, a neighboring family, right? And then we have our own surplus to produce so that we can become one of those neighboring families. So this is what we've been up to in that mindset, in that pattern, and that idea of trying to create strongholds and anchors for self-sufficient communities based on the independent American gardener. So TIAG operates with three different arms. We have Lulu's Garden, Haven Permaculture, and TIAG itself. These three arms all collaborate. What I'm super, super excited about, and what we've been working on specifically for the last little while, has been this particular aspect of it. We officially have a new headquarters. TIAG is developing and restoring an old building, about a 100-year-old building in Trenton, Missouri. Slowly but surely, I personally by hand have been working on this structure and trying to get it fixed up. We've been going through the loops and the hoops of trying to dissect what problems the building has and what we need to restore. A lot of it is actually pretty well off, and I was shocked to see how much we don't need to do. But there's quite a bit to be done to get it to the standards that we want to demonstrate permaculture design, because permaculture design is its own beast altogether, right? So this first commercial level TIAG hub is really, really fascinating, because what we're able to do here is we're going to demonstrate what commercial permaculture can do, working with our local city government, not hiding from them, working with them. You need to understand that your city government is people just like you that have a job, and their job is just to document and follow the paperwork and push the buttons. And so, yeah, there's a higher level than them that put document and file paperwork and push the buttons. And there's a higher level than them because that's how government is structured. But what you need to understand is that, especially in the United States, we are given the freedom to choose how that operates, because we can influence and intervene. And so we're not, I don't want you to go create your safe haven and run away from the system. We need to create a new system that can operate at a higher level of life and quality for our families. And so this commercial hub, I'm hoping very much so to be able to work with our local government here in the city, as well as the college across the street. And I have big plans for that. We'll release more details at another time. Now, this urban hub is in northern Missouri, here in Trenton. This is our staple place. This is where we had the original Lulu's Garden, and we're bringing Lulu's Garden back again. Now, the staple proof concept that we're trying to run with TIAG is the proof of concept itself. And so as we're trying to get this building put together, it will have rain catch. It will have a food forest. There's an adjoining section of in the garden you can't see right here, a whole other section of the property that we also own, and we own the entire building. And we will be able to demonstrate a food forest, rain catch systems, passive solar heating, passive electricity. We're going to be able to do a year-round greenhouse. There's so many things that we're doing on this property, even green roofs and cob building. Now, this is going to be a big project. It's going to take us a lot of years to get it up to the level that we want it, because of the level that it's at. And because of the way that my mind works, where we just see so much potential, right? But it's about a 10,000 square foot brick and mortar storefront. And there's about, the total lot is about 0.57 acres. What's cool about that is it's kind of divided up in a weird way, where about 0.2 acres of the property is a little food forest that's been growing wild for a while. So I'm super excited because we get to turn it into something gorgeous. Now, just to get a little bit further into this, this will be the primary hub for Lulu's Garden, which is the holistic market, and we're going to be offering a modified CSA in time this year, hopefully. And then TIAG, of course, is an event demonstration and nonprofit, and we focus a lot on education and collaboration. And so the event center inside this building is going to be a real good one where we'll be able to demonstrate live. Now, Haven Permaculture is the actual organization where we curate these things and we bring the consultancies and the professional design. And so this is where the regenerative design firm is going to be housed as well. And we're going to be able to offer consultation direct from this location. Now these three organizations operate in a cool way collaboratively all through the nonprofit. Now, our next goal with this project is to design and develop this commercial property with Haven permaculture collaborators. So if you're a collaborator or someone that would like to collaborate with us on this commercial property, this is your invitation. Reach out because we're looking for ideas, we're looking for support, we're looking for resources, and we're looking for people that want to build something and have a legacy attached to that. So if you want your name on this project, this is your invitation. And in real time, we're going to be broadcasting everything we do to this property in the Journey program. Now, this is kind of a cool aspect of the Journey program is that we're able to dive into every project that we have in TIAG and push it through the channels to show you what stumbling blocks we're coming through and what kind of difficulties we're trying to avoid in the design process of this property. Now, a lot of this is happening just kind of fast and on the fly, and it's being documented. Everything is being documented. We are all about documentation. We video, we photograph, we journal, we write things down, we pass notes back and forth. We have project management softwares that we run with and team. All of this is being documented. You may not see all of this online. You may have no idea what we've been doing because we've been silent on the web, but we are very much action-driven people. And I am very much in the trenches of this nonstop every single day. This is what I do for a living. So I live and breathe this. And so this is what we've been doing. Now, a cool piece of this is that because we've been documenting it, everything is going to be able to transition into the Journey program for 2024. Now, all of the content that is coming through the Journey program for 2024 is based on these two properties for this season. We have one in the Trenton, Missouri. It's the actual urban hub I just explained to you. We're going to be talking about how the healthful market and the garden store will be operating, all the way down to the food forest and the rain catch in our commercial setting. Now, the next one is going to be South Carolina. We have a new project in South Carolina, a 38-acre rural homestead, and this is a client property, which is actually super, super cool. They've given us the ability to just train on their property. So while we're doing the Journey program and interacting with everybody inside the platform and in the actual tiagcommunities.org platform, we're going to be discussing the intricacies of a 38-acre rural farm and getting that homestead built and designed and following through all of those steps. Now, what's cool about this is because they've given us the ability to train our new PDC graduates, we are going through the steps of foundational levels. Foundational levels. There's going to be some stuff in here, obviously, that's very applicable to experienced permaculturists, and quite exciting. I know a few of my good friends that have been in the movement for longer than I have are really excited about some of the things that we're doing. But there's also going to be this level where if you're brand spanking new to this, we're gonna show you in the Journey program. Step one. Step two. Hey, have you ever thought about installing your design? Let's actually get into that nitty gritty, right? All these things, because we can do anything we want online. You really can. And now it's to this point where it's kind of scary how many things you can do online. And so if we're so focused on the internet, it's not going to happen. The cyberspace doesn't create oxygen. Trees do. So we're going to get out into the ground and we're going to put real trees in the ground. So that's what this whole program is about. We're creating the journey to self-sufficiency. Now, our family and that founded the organization TIAG, Lulu's Garden, and Haven Permaculture, and how they all collaborate has expanded quite a bit to operate and navigate with a lot of other organizations, entities, and individuals. Now, in the process of everything that we've been trying to achieve here, we have got TIAG to the point where we're at step 5 of the TIAG Communities Launch Program. Now, the TIAG Communities Launch Program is really fun. This is really quite fascinating. The launch program goes from step 1 through 7 to be able to begin and create a closed loop community, a self-sufficient community, right in the heart of your own existing neighborhood or county, or territory. Now, our goal with the hub projects is to create those demonstration properties in these real world communities. And so for us here in Missouri, we've gotten to step 5 where we're launching our hubs and we're getting our movement so we can create that foundation and that template that we can then duplicate in all of our other TIAG communities across the country. So if you're interested in the hub program, this is a good time to reach out and connect with me about that. Now, TIAG is the way that we've set this up. TIAG is a nonprofit entity seeking 501c3 status, which means that as you work with TIAG in the Journey program, you're supporting a lot of nonprofit activism. Now, to go a little bit further than this, our activism is U.S. based. We are a U.S. company. We support families here. Now, to go a little further than that, we are also the Americas in general. Our movement, the Independent American Gardener, it focuses on the Americas, the continent. We're looking at the American continent, specifically North America right now, helping a lot in Canada. So our goal is to support individuals and families at home. We're not worried about going overseas for our activism right now because we're focusing with what's happening at home. I think there needs to be a shift in that direction. And so we're paving the way for that to happen in a big way. Now, one of the big steps that we've taken in some of our leaps forward here is that we are strengthening our beehive arm operations. This is really, really cool because the beehive arm of TIAG has always been about um, facilitating the means for families to have beehives as a cornerstone in their homestead. We have not had massive production abilities. We have not really gotten to the point where we're able to crank out hives. We do not use, let me clarify this right off the bat, we do not use Langstroth hives. We do not use the vertically standing Langstroth hives. We use horizontal insulated lay-ins hives. Now, our hives, you can go down to havenpermaculture.com and find the hives, the beekeeping section on that website, and start looking through what we're doing. But our hives are built and based on existing entrepreneurs and experienced mentors that have taught us how to do this. And now moving forward into a natural beekeeping model with TIAG, we're collaborating with them and we're going to be announcing some cool things with their organization here soon as well, and how we're going to be doing larger group buys, as well as we just expanded our own ability to build and distribute these hives across the United States and Canada. We have 2 new locations for building. One is obviously the Trenton Urban Hub here. We just also opened up a new collaboration in St. George where we're going to be building these hives and getting them distributed. Now, we also have 2 assembly locations. Obviously, one here in Trenton, Missouri, where we're doing everything we can to demonstrate proof of concept. And then we're also opening up in Evanston, Wyoming location to assemble and distribute. Now, if you look at what's happening across the country here, now we have the western states. Then we also have the mid-continent here. Before long, I'm really hoping that we have a location in the eastern continent. But right now, we're just focusing on or eastern country states. But right now, we're just focusing on here in the Midwest. Now, we also have 2 buying options. We have the ready-made insulated hives, the actual beehive itself, ready to go, plug and play. We'll ship it to you with 20 frames in it, the box, all of the goodies, fully assembled and ready to go. And then you can paint it with your family, put your hives in there, put your bees in there, and you're good to go. Now, the other option, if you're a little bit more handy, we can get cost way, way down for you. We have unassembled hive kits. Now, this is going to reduce the cost, but it is going to have some DIY assembly. So we have an instruction for you. We'll have a video walkthrough for you. All of this is going to be coming up to fruition hope this month, and we'll be launching the first group buy this weekend. Super, super excited about all of that. Now, in the buying methods, we have two options. Get it now direct is not available right now. You will be able to buy direct by purchasing it from the havenpermaculture.com website and then immediately get a hive shipped to you. That is not available right now. That is happening hopefully next month. Right now, you're going to be able to get involved with the group buy model. The group buy model closes every 30 days. Every 30 days, we drop ship our large group bulk order to a community, and that community then will distribute to you. Now, all of these different aspects of how the group buy models function is through the nonprofit organization, where our goal is to help support you. And so if you want to get into beekeeping, we have mentors to help you do that. We collaborate with a lot of different people. Now, another aspect of this is if there's something that you need supply wise for beekeeping and we don't have it or we can't offer it to you in our collaboration here, we will find it. you just tell us what it is and we will figure out a way to support you in that, and we'll get a group buy going. Right now, I just got a request for the insulating pillows so the bees can make it through winter. So we're going to go ahead and do that as well. So this is something that we've never done the group buy pill on the pillows before. And so this is something that we're just doing because we got a request to do that. So there's lots of aspects that our motion and our mission is focused on, but really it's all about supporting you. So tell us what you need. Now, a deeper look at this, to get into natural beekeeping support methods that we have with TIAG. TIAG partners with Haven Permaculture and Lulu's Garden to be able to make these things applicable and educational for you. A big part of natural beekeeping is no herbicides, no pesticides. We don't do any kind of treatments to the hives. I just found out last year they vaccinated bees in Northern California, and I was blown away. We're letting nature be nature, right? That's the model here. We're going to keep bees like they keep themselves. Now, insulated horizontal hives have 20 frames per hive. They're up to 10 pounds of honey per frame. And so you can get quite a bit of honey out of these hives. There's 6 pounds of raw wool insulation in every hive. And our hives are CNC machine cut, which when you're looking at the way that bees are kept, and if you've been an experienced beekeeper, you probably know this already. If a section of that hive is gapped in the wood and it's not a proper fit, and a hive beetle can get in there, but a bee can't, the hive beetles start to move around and come into different sections. You'll get ants, black ants in there. The hive beetles will eventually get into the comb, and if the comb touches each other, the hive beetles get in there where the bees can't reach them, and they colonize in there. And so it's just a lot of things happen. And so we want the CNC machine cut from all of our wood, and this allows us to get nice tight knit fits for our hives. Now, we're also building and assembling these right here in the USA, which I'm very proud of. Now, Land's hive traps are the way that we get our hives. We don't buy wild colonies or domesticated colonies. We catch wild swarms. So a Land's hive trap has 6 frames in it. You'll never need to buy bees again, and we'll have a direct fit from your trap. All 6 frames can be taken out, simply moved over, and put into your new horizontal hive. Very fun, very good way of doing things. Super easy. You get about 10 pounds of honey on the frame. So even if you're 80, 90, 100 years old, you're not lifting a 50-pound super off the top of your Langstroth model. Instead, you're pulling a 10-pound frame up out of a Layens model. Very, very seamless, very good. You can keep it into your old age and not have a problem. And that's very important to me because a lot of beekeepers that I know of today struggle even, and they're my age. And should be strong and fit, and it's hurting their back to lift up a 50-pound box on the top. So we have a much more user-friendly model. Now, we do have the insulated beehive kits. Now, this is really where it gets a little interesting. The insulated beehive kits are in development. I'm getting details to you soon. I don't have information on this right now, but I just want to let you know what's coming down the pipeline. These are unassembled kits, but they're pre-insulated. This is fascinating to me because the model that we're working with is based on the concept of being able to just slap this thing together with 5 different pieces and a lid, and you're good. It's all pre-done. It's all going to have a step up in the assembly process. It's not so DIY. It's a lot more DIY friendly, and it isn't completely assembled either. It's kind of in between the two. This is something that I think everybody is going to be really excited about when they see, and it's a custom model that we're designing and fabricating ourselves. That you can't get this anywhere else in the world, and so I'm super excited about it. Now we're gonna be able to get some information to that on that specific product here soon, and next month we'll have enough stock on hand where we'll be able to do direct purchase on these hives. In the meantime, right now, look for the group buys. Now, also just a quick note, we will be able to distribute these in Canada through our partners. So our partners will be able to work with us in that way. Now, this is kind of where we've been. All right, I just gave you a whole bunch. I'm moving really fast here, but we went through the last 4 months worth of it took us a long time to make all that happen. And there's a whole lot that happened in between them, but those are the 3 significant leaps forward that we've taken. Now, going forward from where we're at today, these are the core goals that we have for our phase 3 of the TIAG program. Now, we have behind the scenes, we call it the TIAG program launch. The TIAG program launch is a 4-phase effort. Phase 3 right now is the hub and community launch events. In what we are doing right now, our focus is to create those demonstration sites and get real world communities. We feel an urgency for communities to grab this and get it going now, while we're building the template. We're not going to take the whole year to build our template and then get back to you next year with how to do it. We're doing it with you. We're taking you on the journey with us. So we're in the trenches. No, we're not perfect. Yes, we have gaps in our communication sometimes because there's so much going on. We're a small organization, right? But we're a huge nonprofit. Now our motive is and when I say huge nonprofit is relationship capital. Our motive is to help people. We're not doing this for the big bucks. We're doing this because I want my kids to grow up in a world where freedom reigns supreme and you can walk around the block, pull fruit off overhanging vines on the sidewalk and be full tummy for your lunch break by the time you get home. That's the society that I want my kids to grow up in, not this World War III and Civil War propaganda and all these things that may or may not actually happen. And if they, and you know, and if we do nothing, they will certainly 100% happen. So it is not up for debate if we want to change the world. It's what are we doing right now to change the world? So this is what we're doing to change the world. We're creating TIAG hubs across the United States and TIAG community launch events. Now, the TIAG community launch events are really fun. This is going to be a larger scale events dedicated to launching real world barter and trade communities. And we're going to be working toward a circular economy at the family level, creating food, water, shelter, and surplus stability first. Then our hub demonstrations in that community, when the time is right, will workshops and collaborations will come together and we'll be able to collaborate one with another in that local setting so that when and or if the situation or setting ever occurred where you were unplugged from TIAG, your community is independent, totally free and ready to rock. You don't need us to keep coming and teaching you because you're helping and teaching each other. This is the movement that we want to see people engage with. Now, the Hub project, in order to be a part of the Hub project, you have to qualify. This isn't something we're just letting anybody do. There is an invite-only process. You do have to apply and you must qualify. Now, if you want to become a demonstration site, these are some of the criteria we're looking for. Number one, do you want to become a demonstration site to begin with, where people can see it and actually interact with it and see and touch and proof permaculture design in action? The next one is ask yourself, do you want to create a resilient community in anti-fragility? Anti-fragility is something where that gets stronger in opposition rather than crumbling. You know, you have a big box and you got glass in there and you drop it and it shatters. Whereas if it were anti-fragile, you would drop that box and it would actually strengthen itself. So for example, there's a tree out here called the hedgewood tree. When you chop it down, that initial branch that's laying on the ground is a little bit softer. It's always a little bit hard, but it's a little bit softer than it is over so many years. Every year that wood actually hardens and contracts and gets stronger. Farmers use it for fence posts all across the country because of that effect. The older it gets, the stronger it gets. It becomes like a steel. It's just rock solid. It's hard to drill into. And so that's the anti-fragile tree. It's a very cool concept. We want to see communities become anti-fragile and operate in that level of anti-fragility. So as the economy in the world gets crazier, the community gets stronger. Now, build a haven that people can come to is a big piece of this, building a haven. If you're interested in a place where your acreage can provide safety and solace for other people, the Hub project is right for you. If you're trying to do this for your own family and you want that closed door and it's just you and your kids and your spouse and that's just you guys right there, the Hub project is not right for you. Now, if you're willing to put it out there that maybe not right now, but later at the right time, you're creating a place where if the need arose, people could come, it's probably still right for you, right? So there's some check to ask yourself right there. Now, are you trying actively to become an independent American gardener? Are you gardening? Are you actually trying to grow food? If you're not trying to grow food right now, or trying to seek out at least the steps to take, or at least in some way in your trajectory heading in that direction, the Hub project is not right for you. The Hub project is a place where food is abundant, and we want people that can handle and manage and operate at that level to be able to engage with us. Now, if you want to learn more about the Hub project, you can go to tiagcommunity.com, and one of the links on that page will take you to a Hub project link. Now, the Hub projects are real world demonstrations. So while I say we're trying to create these self-sufficient communities, I want to break down a little bit of what that looks like. we're going to create for the hubs that enroll and pass the approval process, a curated plan for self-sufficiency in food, water, shelter, and surplus, backed by real world experience and the regenerative leaders in the TIAG collaborative. Our movement is very much about freedom and liberty and self-sufficiency and the family as a whole. We are protecting and preserving the family. And in order to do all those things and maintain that level, we have to own our own food. We have to own our own water. We have to own the source of these things, right? The source of them. And then we need to have energy efficient and self-stable shelters. And we need to be able to produce a surplus from our own land so that we're not dependent on the export or the import of other entities, goods and services for us to thrive, right? At least a level of self-sufficiency, right? Then we get into abundance. Now, if we are, while we're looking at these communities, if we are looking at it like-minded families are the only people we're going for, we're gonna be contrary to the way that nature operates. In the forest, there are diversity everywhere. The key to a food forest is diversity. So when you read this and you see this part of the slide, we are looking for like-minded families. What I mean by that is we're looking for like-minded families at the level that they're trying to achieve self-sufficiency and everything that I've said to this point in this presentation. If you are watching this presentation and you see that I've said something in this talk so far that just clashes with you, maybe you didn't understand what I said exactly, and you want to reach out, that's great. But if you're just full on against anything I've said to this point, well, chances are the Hub project is not right for you. And what's cool about this is that because the Hub project itself is working with these families and these property owners at this level, we're opening the door for anybody and everybody from all walks of life to come and see. Just come and see it. Come and see, learn, be, do, touch it with your own hands, get proof of concept in real world permaculture gardens. That's what this is about. So it doesn't matter if you're white, black, gray, neon, or gray. Come out here, learn about this, touch it with your hands, get your hands in the soil. If you want to dive deep into the politics and the nasty stuff of all the world going on, don't do it at an event. We're not doing that at events. We're getting into the ideas of self-sufficiency and solution thinking. Okay, so this is what this is all about. And so whether you're the working with us at the level of owning and operating a hub, or you're working with us in the level of just simply attending some of the cool things that we're doing, there's a level for you to get involved. Now, we are designing and building real world proof concepts. So this is where we get to explore with other designers and collaborators what a passive solar greenhouse is, what a passive solar powering system is, right? Well, actual passive electric. We might look into hydroelectric. We might look into wind power, right? We might get into some of those other technologies, but there's a pattern and a system to the way that permaculture operates, and the goal is to create earth-friendly movement. And that means that first and foremost, we are not looking at high-end level technologies and leaving everything else behind. It means that what we're demonstrating, we're looking at modern technologies and old world technologies, and we're meeting in the middle. And we're able to use modern technology to maximize ancient practices with modern methods. And this is where there's a cool collaboration in permaculture when you really get your mind on that and you can see how nature functions. And you can sit there and meditate in the massive grove and then simultaneously go home and use AI to curate your thoughts as you just verbally speak, and it documents it for you on the spot. And there's different things that you could do and don't do. Everybody has their own level here, but I just want you to know that we're working with proof of concept. And so it's a concept. And so we're not trying to do the one size fits all model. We're doing a proof of a concept based on that property and that hub. So there's a different kind of event and touch and feel to every property. Now, we're going to also be pioneering some new ideas. These hubs will be demonstrating and experimenting on the outcomes of these things, documenting them and pushing the process so that we can actually push the bounds of what practical advice is and maybe get into some extremes a little bit and help people understand that you can grow food without any kind of fertilizers whatsoever. You can get into different kinds of natural crystals and things that might help a little bit with your mindset. We can dive deep into essential oils and healthcare. We can get into herbology. We can push the boundaries of how all of these things interact and create a real world permaculture property. We don't have to follow the standard USDA approved agricultural method, right? Like we're pushing the boundaries with every single step. Now, because we're pioneering ideas, it allows us to protect and preserve the family as God intended very ingenuitively. Our model is to create a safe haven. That's the foundation of all of this. We're creating a safe haven. So the family is at the core of everything that we do. So if you're aiming to become off-grid capable, self-sufficient, and feed people, then I want you to reach out to me. You can do that at jamin@havenpermaculture.com. Now, TIAG community launch events is kind of the pillar of all of this, and I'm going to wrap it up here for you. Starting in May, we're going to be doing larger event groups, overnight multi-day gatherings, live demonstrations of operating permaculture elements, including things like earthen building later this year in November, and then guest speakers from local professionals. And all of this will be held across the United States and parts of Canada. And I personally will be to a lot of these, just there to be a guest speaker and help to flow or help to curate the events themselves. We also have a lot of new team members and some collaborators we'll be introducing to you soon, to get the ground moving here in the 2024 year. A lot of this is moving simultaneously. So let me just preface all of this for you. I want you to know that TIAG is a functioning and well-oiled machine. We are taking steps every single day to a regenerative future. And the steps that we are taking next are going to change the way that families think in a very large capacity. If this is something that inspires you, this is something that you want to learn more about, you already know what to do. jamin.michlevich@gmail.com, my personal email. You can shoot that to me direct, or if you want to reach to the company, jamin@tiagcommunities.org. You can go to support@havenpermaculture.com. There's so many ways to contact us. You can go to tiagcommunities.org or tiagcommunity.com, havenpermaculture.com. There's so many ways online. There's a lot of different threads. There's surveys. We have put ourselves all over the place. So don't feel like you don't know. If you don't know how to get a hold of us, that's an excuse for you. I've eliminated it. If this is something you want to see in your world, be the change you want to see in the world. That's my invitation to you. Thank you so much for being here and going through this recap with me. We have a lot more in store and a lot more that we're going to go over in the months coming. But right now, this is plenty. And we'll be doing another meeting just like this with updates and more details on some of the specifics I mentioned today, next month. We do every month inside the Journey program, a professional in their field comes to mentor and teach. And then once a month, we do a public listing just like this, where we'll be recording and spreading the word. So come on, get your friends. It's free to join these meetings once a month. If you want to get into the higher level education, you can become a subscriber in TIAG community, and we'll be able to get that into the Journey program with you. But in the meantime, just reach out. We're here to help. It's what we do. Thank you so much for being here.